Have you ever walked out of a conversation replaying your words and cringing? Maybe it was an interview, a date, or a meeting at work. You wanted to sound confident. You wanted to leave a strong impression, but instead your words stumbled. Your voice wavered, and hours later you were still thinking, why didn't I say that differently? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, surveys show that more than 70% of professionals believe poor communication has held them back from promotions, opportunities, or building deeper relationships. Think about that. Not lack of intelligence, not lack of work ethic, but lack of communication skills. Here's the bold truth. In 2025, communication is not optional. It's survival. It's the difference between blending into the noise or standing out as someone unforgettable. Whether you're pitching on LinkedIn, going live on TikTok, presenting in a hybrid Zoom meeting, or just speaking to your family, your ability to communicate makes or breaks how people see you. And the good news, you don't have to be born with the gift of gab. Communication is a skill, which means you can learn it, you can practice it, and you can master it. Help us reach our first 100 subscribers. Hit subscribe now, because by the end of this audiobook, you'll have tools that can change the way you speak forever. And subscribing tells us you're serious about growth. The first principle, communication shapes perception. Here's something you need to burn into your memory. People don't see who you really are. They see how you communicate. Think of two candidates interviewing for the same job. One has all the skills but mumbles through answers, fills every pause with and avoids eye contact. The other candidate has fewer skills but speaks with clarity, confidence, and presence. Who gets hired? More often than not, it's the second one. Case study. A tech company in California ran an experiment with their sales team. They gave one group technical training and another group communication training. Guess which group closed more deals? The communication-trained group outperformed the technical group by over 30%. Same products, same price, different words. Action step. Today, practice this. The next time someone asks what you do, explain it in one sentence a 12-year-old could understand. That's how you build clarity. Comment below. Talk like a pro. If you want us to make a full video breaking down advanced clarity techniques. Storytelling over statistics. Let's face it, facts are forgettable. Stories are sticky. Think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't say, "We demand civil rights per legislative code." He said, "I have a dream." That dream was a story, a vision, something people could see and feel. Fast forward to today. On TikTok, the videos that go viral aren't the ones rattling off dry facts. They're stories. A creator sharing their struggle, a student explaining how they overcame burnout, a small business owner showing their first sale. People don't remember data. They remember stories. Action step. Take one fact you often share, maybe about your work, your studies, or your passion, and reframe it as a story. Add a beginning, a struggle, and a resolution. The silent superpower. Listening. Here's the irony. The best communicators aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who listen the best. Why? Because listening gives you information. It builds trust. It makes people feel seen and respected. Real-world example. Oprah Winfrey built an entire empire on listening. Guests on her show often said, "She made me feel like I was the only person in the room." That's the power of deep listening. It makes people open up, and when they open up, you gain influence. Action step. In your next conversation, count to 3 before responding. That pause forces you to truly listen instead of planning your reply. Comment below. Listening is power. If you want us to create a full guide on active listening techniques for modern workplaces and relationships. The modern distraction trap. Let's be honest. Communication in 2025 has new challenges. We're not just competing with other people's words, we're competing with screens, notifications, and endless scrolling. Have you ever tried to have a serious conversation while the other person's eyes kept darting back to their phone? That's modern distraction. And if you're not intentional, you'll lose every time. Story. A manager once told me he couldn't figure out why his team wasn't listening to him in meetings. Turns out he was competing with Slack pings, Instagram reels, and side conversations. His solution. Start every meeting by saying, "Phones down for 10 minutes. I promise you'll get more done." Engagement skyrocketed. Action step. When you need someone's attention, claim it directly. Say, "Can I have 2 minutes of your full focus?" That small habit commands presence. If you've ever lost someone's attention mid-sentence, hit like on this video right now. It shows you're committed to breaking free from distraction. Confidence without arrogance. Confidence is magnetic. Arrogance is repelling. The line between the two is razor thin. So what's the difference? Confidence says, "I believe in my message." Arrogance says, "I'm better than you." Story on Shark Tank. Entrepreneurs who walk in confident but humble often win deals. They speak clearly, know their numbers, and show belief in their vision. But the ones who strut in with arrogance, they get shredded by the sharks. Same stage, different delivery. Action. Step. Next time you share an idea, state it clearly. Then add one line of humility. Example. "Here's my perspective. I'd love to hear yours too." That's confident, not arrogant. Body language speaks louder. More than 60% of communication is nonverbal, which means your words matter, but your body matters more. Picture someone saying, "I'm excited to work here," while slouching, arms crossed, eyes on the floor. Do you believe them? Of course not. But if they stand tall, smile, and look you in the eye, the same words feel true. Action step. Today, practice aligning your body with your message. Shoulders back, open posture, steady eye contact. Cliffhanger. What's next? We've covered some of the most powerful tools already. Clarity, storytelling, listening, confidence, and body language. And these alone could transform how you speak tomorrow. But this is only the beginning, because in part 2, we'll unlock the deeper psychology of influence, how persuasion works, how to adapt your message to any audience, and the surprising science behind silence. These are the secrets professionals use in negotiations, interviews, and even relationships. Before you go, subscribe right now. Help us reach our first 100 subscribers. You'll make a huge difference for this channel. And write in the comments, "Talk like a pro," if you're ready for the next level. This is just the start of your journey to communication mastery. Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a room and instantly command attention without even saying a word? Or how certain leaders can say less but influence more? That's not luck. That's not magic. That's communication psychology at work. And in this part, we're diving deep into the strategies that turn ordinary talk into extraordinary influence. Hit that like button right now if you've ever wished people would take your words more seriously. Let's make today the day you learn how. Rule 6. Adapt to your audience. One of the biggest mistakes people make in communication is assuming one style fits all. But here's the reality. The way you talk to your best friend shouldn't be the same way you talk in a board meeting or in a TikTok video or when negotiating a raise. Story. Think about Barack Obama on the campaign trail. He spoke with soaring vision and storytelling, but in closed-door meetings, he was analytical, measured, detailed. Same person, different audience. Action step. Before your next conversation, ask yourself, who am I speaking to and what do they care about most? Then adapt. That one question alone can change the outcome. Rule 7. Master the psychology of persuasion. Why do we buy certain products? Why do we trust certain leaders? Why do we agree to some requests but ignore others? It's not random. It's persuasion. Psychologists have found 6 universal principles: reciprocity, authority, scarcity, consistency, liking, and social proof. These principles show up everywhere, from YouTube creators saying, smash that like button, because everyone else is, to LinkedIn influencers positioning themselves as experts with authority. Story. Think about Apple product launches. They use scarcity, limited availability, authority, the CEO on stage, and social proof, millions lining up. And year after year, people buy not just products, but an identity. Action step. Choose one persuasion principle and apply it in your daily life. For example, use reciprocity. Offer genuine help first before asking for anything in return. That's persuasion done with integrity. Write in the comments, talk like a pro, if you want us to break down all 6 persuasion principles in their own video. Rule 8. The power of silence. Most people fear silence in conversation. They rush to fill every pause with or nervous laughter. But here's the secret. Silence is a weapon. Silence creates tension. Tension creates attention. And attention gives your words weight. Story. In negotiations, smart professionals often say their piece, then stop talking. The other side, uncomfortable with silence, usually speaks first, often giving away information or making concessions. Action. Step. Practice a 3-second pause after your next key statement. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Rule 9. Listening for hidden meaning. In part 1, we talked about listening. Now let's go deeper, because listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about catching what's unsaid. Story. A manager once asked her team if they felt confident about a project. Everyone nodded, but one person's eyes darted down just for a second. That tiny signal told her, there's doubt here. She dug deeper, uncovered a hidden problem, and saved the project. That's advanced listening, seeing beyond the surface. Action step. Next time you're in a conversation, look for micro signals, tone changes, eye movements, hesitation. That's where the real meaning lives. Type in the comments, I choose growth, if you want us to create a full masterclass on hidden communication signals. Rule 10. Emotional intelligence in conversation. You can have the smartest arguments in the world, but if you ignore emotions, you lose. Emotional intelligence is about recognizing feelings, yours and theirs, and responding with empathy. Story. Consider a hybrid workplace in 2025. A leader emails a blunt message. We need results now. The team, already stressed, reads it as aggressive. Morale dips. But if the leader had added one emotional line, "I know you're under pressure and I appreciate your work," the message would have landed with motivation instead of resentment. Action step. In your next message, add one sentence that acknowledges emotion. It can be as simple as, "I appreciate your effort." That's emotional intelligence in action. Hit like on this video if you believe empathy is a communication superpower. Case study. The TikTok speaker. Let me tell you about Maria. She was terrified of speaking, but she started posting short videos on TikTok about career tips. At first, she was awkward, fumbling with her words, but she applied these rules. She told short stories, practiced silence, adapted her tone, and showed empathy. Within a year, she had 500,000 followers, was invited to podcasts, and even landed consulting clients. She didn't change who she was. She just mastered communication. Now, imagine what would happen if you applied the same principles, not on TikTok, but in your interviews, your meetings, your relationships. That's the kind of transformation that's possible. Engagement, break, pause for a moment. Which of these rules do you feel you need the most right now? Persuasion, silence, hidden listening, or emotional intelligence? Write it below. Don't just scroll past, actually type it. Because when you declare it, you commit to it. And if you haven't already, help us reach our first 100 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button right now. You'll be part of building this channel from the ground up. The New Landscape of Communication, 2025. Let's zoom out for a moment. We live in a world where communication isn't just happening face-to-face anymore. It's happening on Zoom calls, Slack threads, LinkedIn posts, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and AI-driven chatbots. Your communication skills aren't just tested in speeches. They're tested in 10-second videos, quick DMs, and emoji-filled replies, which means mastering communication in 2025 requires flexibility. You need to adapt your skills across platforms. Action step. This week, practice sharing one idea across 3 formats. Write it in a professional LinkedIn post, speak it in a TikTok-style 30-second video, and explain it casually to a friend. That exercise trains your adaptability muscle. Cliffhanger. What's next? So far, we've covered clarity, storytelling, listening, confidence, body language, persuasion, silence, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. By now, you've already got tools that can put you ahead of 90% of people. But we're not done, because in Part 3, we're going to dive into the hidden habits and daily practices that make communication automatic. The drills professionals use, the micro habits that turn "I'm nervous" into "I'm natural." And one secret practice almost nobody talks about, but it separates average speakers from unforgettable ones. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, and type in the comments, "Talk like a pro," if you're ready for Part 3. We're about to take your communication skills from theory into practice. Don't miss what's coming. Think about this. Communication isn't a one-time performance. It's not just the big speech, the crucial interview, or the viral TikTok. It's what you do every single day. It's the micro habits, the hidden routines, the way you train your voice, your mind, and your presence. Professionals don't just wing it. They practice, they refine, they repeat. And in this part, we're unlocking the daily drills, the practical routines, and the secret exercises that can make you speak smart automatically, until powerful communication becomes second nature. Hit like if you're ready to build daily habits that transform your voice, your presence, and your influence. The daily drill of vocal warm-ups. Let's start with your voice, because your voice is your instrument. And like any instrument, it needs tuning. Most people roll out of bed, grab coffee, and start speaking with a groggy, tense voice. Professionals, they warm up. Actors, broadcasters, even top YouTubers do it. Story. A podcaster I know used to lose his voice after long sessions. Then he learned vocal warm-ups, simple humming, tongue twisters, breathing exercises. Within weeks, his stamina improved, his tone became richer, and his episodes sounded more powerful. Action step? Tomorrow morning, before your first conversation, hum for 1 minute, say a tongue twister, and take 5 deep breaths. That's your 1% vocal upgrade. Comment below. Strong voice, strong message. If you want us to release a full vocal warm-up routine video, the micro habit of eye contact. Eye contact builds trust faster than any word, yet in a digital age, it's disappearing. Story. On Zoom, a manager realized he was always looking at faces on the screen, never at the camera. To his team, he looked distracted. Once he trained himself to glance directly into the lens, the difference was huge. People suddenly felt, he's talking to me. Action step. Practice 3-second eye contact. In person, lock eyes for 3 seconds before shifting. On Zoom, look at the lens for 3 seconds while speaking. Write in the comments, talk like a pro, if you want us to break down digital body language for remote work. The secret of micro stories. Big stories inspire. But in daily life, you don't always have time for 5-minute tales. That's why professionals use micro stories, 30-second narratives that pack emotion, imagery, and clarity. Story. A startup founder pitching on LinkedIn didn't say, "We've raised funding." She said, 2 years ago, I was coding in a basement. Today, our app just hit 1 million users. That's a micro story, short but sticky. Action step. Practice shrinking one of your personal stories into a 30-second version. Beginning, struggle, resolution. That's it. The pause and breathe habit. Here's a mistake people make. They talk too fast. They rush through words, leaving no space for their ideas to land. The fix. Pauses. Breathing. Silence. Story. A student giving a presentation once sped through slides like an auctioneer. His professor coached him. Pause every 2 sentences. Let the silence work. At first, it felt awkward, but the result? More authority, more clarity, more confidence. Action. Step. Practice speaking 1 paragraph, then pause for 2 seconds. Breathe, then continue. Train this until it feels natural. Hit like right now if you're guilty of speaking too fast. This one's for you. The habit of recording yourself. You can't improve what you don't measure, and the truth. Most people have no idea how they sound. Story. A college student recorded herself practicing interviews. At first, she hated it. She noticed filler words, awkward hand gestures, and a monotone voice. But because she could see herself, she fixed it. By graduation, she was the one classmates asked for presentation tips. Action step. Record a 60-second video of yourself explaining something. Watch it back. Pick 1 thing to improve tomorrow. Comment below. I choose growth if you'll commit to this exercise. The habit of active note-taking. In conversations, want to stand out instantly. Take notes when someone speaks. It shows respect and keeps you sharp. Story. In a hybrid workplace, one employee quietly took notes during every meeting. Months later, when a crisis hit, she pulled out her notes and reminded the team of earlier discussions. her credibility skyrocketed. Action step. In your next meeting or conversation, jot down at least 3 key points. That's your 1% professionalism upgrade. The habit of social micro-practice communication doesn't just happen on big stages. It happens in micro moments, chatting with a cashier, greeting a neighbor, sending a quick DM. These moments are training grounds. Story. An introverted engineer decided to practice 1 smile and 1 compliment a day. Nothing big, just micro-practice. Within months, his confidence grew so much he volunteered to lead team presentations. Action step. Today, practice 1 micro-communication. Compliment someone. Ask a genuine question. Send a thoughtful text. Comment. Small habits, big growth, if you'll commit to daily practice. The rule of reframing nervousness. Here's the truth. Everyone feels nervous. Professionals, too. The difference is how they interpret it. Story. A TED speaker once admitted, "I still feel nervous before every talk. But I tell myself, this isn't fear. It's energy. My body is preparing me." That reframing turned nerves into fuel. Action step. Next time you feel nervous, say to yourself, "This is energy. This means I care." That one mental shift changes everything. The daily reflection habit. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what communication moment did I handle well? What can I improve by 1% tomorrow? Story. Executives at top firms often keep communication journals. A line or 2 daily, wins, mistakes, lessons. Over months, these small reflections built massive growth. Action step. Tonight, write 1 line about your best communication of the day. That's your 1% reflection. Case study, the hybrid worker. Meet Daniel. He worked in a hybrid office in New York. On Zoom, he used to fade into the background. In person, he felt overlooked. But Daniel decided to train daily. He warmed up his voice, practiced eye contact, told micro stories, and recorded himself weekly. Slowly, colleagues noticed, he became the one asked to lead calls, then to present to clients, then to mentor juniors. Nothing magical, just daily practice, just the 1% rule applied to communication. Engagement break. Pause with me. Which of these habits will you start tomorrow? Recording yourself, practicing micro stories, pausing, or daily reflection? Write it below. That's your first public commitment. And don't forget, help us reach our first 100 subscribers. Hit subscribe right now, because when you join, you're not just watching, you're building this journey with us. Cliffhanger. What's next? So far, we've built the foundations: clarity, persuasion, silence, emotional intelligence, and daily practice. You've got a full toolkit. But there's one final piece, the mindset. In Part 4, we'll unlock the ultimate mindset shifts that turn communication from a skill into an identity. We'll talk about influence that lasts, conversations that transform, and the legacy of your words. Because once you master this last part, you won't just be communicating. You'll be leading, inspiring, and transforming. Communication as identity. Here's the final truth. Communication isn't just a tool. It's an identity. When you see yourself as a strong communicator, every word you say carries authority. Every conversation becomes an opportunity. Every silence, every gesture, every story you share reinforces who you are. The greatest speakers, leaders, and influencers don't just practice communication. They embody it. That's what we're building in this last section, the mindset that transforms communication from a skill into a way of life. If you've stayed with me, hit that like button now. Show yourself and this community that you're committed to mastering communication. Rule 11. Make communication a daily identity. Stop saying, "I want to get better at speaking," or start saying, "I am the kind of person who communicates clearly and powerfully." Identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as a communicator, practice doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. Story. A shy student once said, "I'm just not a people person." That belief held him back for years. But when he shifted his identity, "I'm becoming someone who connects deeply with others," his behavior followed. He joined clubs, spoke up, and became a leader. Action step. Today, declare your identity. Say out loud, "I am a communicator." That's your 1% identity shift. Rule 12. Influence beyond the moment. Great communication doesn't just affect people in the moment, it lingers, it echoes. Think of a teacher who said one encouraging sentence that stuck with you for years, or a mentor whose words still guide your decisions today. That's the true power of influence. Lasting impact. Story. Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." Every word you speak is planting seeds. Some grow instantly. Some grow years later. Action step. Before your next important conversation, ask yourself, "How do I want this person to feel after talking with me?" Then let that guide your words. Rule 13. Speak with vision. Words create worlds. Leaders don't just talk about what is. They speak about what could be. That's vision. And when you communicate with vision, people follow. Story. Steve Jobs didn't just say, "We're making a phone." He said, "We're reinventing the phone." His words carried a vision, and that vision moved millions. Action step. This week, practice sharing a vision. Instead of saying, "We have to finish this project," say, "When we finish this project, we'll set a new standard." Vision transforms tasks into missions. Rule 14. Use communication to lift others. The ultimate level of communication isn't about making yourself look smart. It's about making others feel valued. Story. In a company town hall, a CEO once said, "The real heroes here are the frontline workers. Without them, we don't exist." That one line boosted morale more than any bonus announcement. Great communicators shine the light on others, and by lifting others, they lift themselves. Action step. Today, highlight someone else. In a meeting, on social media, or in conversation, give credit and appreciation. Type, "I lift others" in the comments if you'll use your words to elevate people around you. Rule 15. Leave regret behind. Here's the final rule. Don't let regret silence you. Too many people stay quiet when they should speak. They regret not sharing ideas, not standing up for themselves, not telling someone how they felt. Story. A woman once shared that her biggest regret was never telling her father how much she admired him before he passed. She thought she had time, but silence became her regret. Don't wait. Speak now. Communicate clearly. Leave nothing unsaid. Action step. Before this day ends, tell someone one thing you've been holding back. A compliment, a truth, a thank you. Don't let silence turn into regret. Case study. The everyday leader. Let me paint a picture. Jordan, 29, working a 9-to-5 job. Smart, but invisible. His ideas went unheard in meetings. His career was stagnant. Then he started practicing communication daily. Eye contact, micro-stories, silence, vision. Within a year, colleagues described him differently. He's confident. He's clear. He's a leader. Promotions followed. Opportunities opened, and the best part, he wasn't pretending. He had simply unlocked the communicator within. That's what this book, this journey, is about. That's transformation. So starting today, claim your identity. Speak with clarity. Listen with presence. Share stories that inspire. Use silence wisely. Lift others. And never, ever let regret hold your words hostage again. 5 years from now, you'll look back. You'll either say, I wish I had spoken up, or you'll say, I'm grateful I started speaking smart back then. The choice is yours. Comment below. I am a communicator. Hit like if you're committed to mastering communication. Subscribe so you never miss the next audiobook. Your voice can change your career. Your voice can change your relationships. Your voice can change your life. And the moment you decide to speak smart, to talk like a pro, is the moment the world starts listening.